Hello, and welcome. I hope you guys are having a fantastic start to your week. I don't know why, but that's always what I like to say when I start a video, especially on my Patreon podcast, but I digress. I had a lot of fun doing my sit down and draw with me video. Definitely let me know if you want me to be doing more of the original one that I had done, or maybe even like a let's do hands next time, or feet, or hair, or fabric, or general, or I don't know, whatever. You guys let me know. But today I thought I would be working on some faces because I have a lot of fun drawing with my blue pencil and then going in with my watercolor, kind of like massing the object, and then I'll go in with my jelly roller, and then I'll go in with my watercolor pencils. And so yeah, like I have a lot of fun with color and stuff like that, and I thought I would break down some stuff with you, some general face rules, if you will, and just talk about, things to consider when you're drawing a face. So I don't know if you saw how I was doing the start of this, but what's really important is use basic shapes and basic anatomy when you are drawing things. So as you can see there, I'm using a block, I'm using a cylinder, and I'm just kind of figuring out the general shape. I'm just feeling out the form, and that's generally how you want to work, not like little scribbly lines. You want to go big movements, big movements when you're drawing something, when you're putting down the gesture of what it is that you're working on. So the other thing is, proportions are a really hard thing that most people have difficulty with. So eyes always are at the top of the ears, and generally speaking, the nose is at the bottom of the ears. The other thing is add an extra eye in between your two eyes to help with positioning if you have trouble with, what the distance between your two eyes would be, or even, find a reference image, because all of the pictures I'm drawing are reference images on Pinterest. So make a pin board like we were talking about in my previous video, and consider drawing the reference over and over again in your style. Even try the first time, draw it the way you see it, and then from there try and start to draw it again and try and add your style into it if you're having a lot of trouble with faces, and see how it goes from there. So another thing is, let me see here, I wrote down notes, so excuse me. So another thing that's really difficult is getting the profile right. And a good anchor for when you're doing profile is that the ear is in the middle of your circle or your cylinder for the head. So hopefully that will help you out a little bit when you are drawing things. And then you want to study the skull from any direction you possibly can. Actually, this reminds me of when I took a life drawing class in school, because I did this with the pelvis and I had so much fun drawing it from every which angle possible. But yeah, drawing everything as basic as you can when it comes to the form is so important. And then another thing that a lot of people have is same face syndrome, whereas when you draw it, what happens is when you draw each face, what happens is every single time it looks like the same drawing. And so just consider, what is different in each face. And yes, you can add in your own style, but it doesn't mean that, try and find something that's unique about every face that you're drawing to try and mitigate the fact that you may have same face syndrome. And obviously, structure is the biggest thing. Basic shapes will be your best friend when you are working on faces, or when you're working on anything really. Do you see how I always have my underdrawing and I just kind of draw through, and then from there I add in my watercolors on top, and then from there now you can see I'm adding in with my jelly roller, which is a really cool pen because it's the only one that I've ever been able to find that you can draw over top of wet medium, okay? Jelly rollers are wicked. I don't know why more people don't use jelly rollers. They use like uniballs and stuff. I don't know. What's your favorite, what's it called? Your favorite medium to draw in? But yeah, so one question I did ask my Instagram, and so one of my followers, who I absolutely love, she's a sweetheart, asked, I always have trouble drawing noses. What easy steps do you recommend? So the biggest thing with noses, and I'm not the biggest, like, I totally bonked this nose on this particular character, I think anyways, and then I did it again later on. I clearly have an issue drawing this form of nose, but I would say make a box. The best thing would be make a box where the nose would sit, you know, in whatever plane and whatever direction you're drawing in, and then from there you can flesh out the shape. And then, I mean, if you want something really simple, just do the anime style where they kind of do like an upside down U kind of shape, or like half a U, if that makes sense. Oh my gosh, what else to talk about? Because that was pretty much everything I wanted to talk about. I guess I can just talk about what's going on in my life and stuff like that, update stuff. You guys drinking any good teas right now? I have a David's Tea Advent Calendar, and I am drinking, I think it's called like some kind of like headache tea. It's supposed to help with headaches. I don't have a headache right now. It's just an herbal tea, and it is the nighttime, so I thought, you know, why not? By the way, right now I'm using my watercolor pencils, which are so fantastic. I love these things so much. So the reason why I like going in with them at the very end is because you can get more of like a precision as to where you want your watercolor pencils to sit. Because now, as you can see, I'm going in with my, which is really cool. I love this thing. It's called a watercolor or water brush, because the shaft of it can hold water, and I absolutely love this thing. I even bring it with me when I'm on the planes. When I'm traveling, I forget that there's water in it, and nothing's ever happened to me, thank God, but I've like freaked out before that someone's gonna take my pen or my brush with me. And these things last forever. I've had this thing for freaking ever. I think it's a Japanese brush of some kind, but anyways, I digress. But yeah, I have so much fun drawing these. Actually, so the first rendition, of course, the first group of heads that I drew, I had so much fun, and I think they turned out phenomenal. And of course, I didn't record it, wah wah. And I ended up posting it on one of the Discords I'm part of, and someone ended up saying it reminds them of the, what's it called? If you guys are into sewing at all, they kind of remind them of vintage images that you would find on the front of a pattern you would buy for sewing. And to me, that's like the utmost of highest caliber of you know, a really nice thing that someone has said about my work, because I don't know why, but the artists that they get usually for patterns, especially the old ones, are phenomenal drawers. I was like, where the hell did you find these people? They are freaking amazing. Okay, I'm just saying. But anyways, yeah, so after this week, when this video comes out, the next video that I will be posting will be about start to finish making your stickers, coming up with the idea and drawing them, and then picking your idea. And then I've got like a new style that I'm doing for my stickers. I'm kind of nervous about it, but I hope you guys like it, because it's a new style. I get kind of nervous when it's a new style and stuff. But yeah, start to finish, because I know I have some friends and stuff that are looking for, you know, like how to draw and Procreate videos more, and just like general how I use Procreate kind of stuff. So I really hope that it becomes helpful for a lot of people. I've also been doing a lot of planner stickers, like more planners stuff, like instead of just, because right now I do like a lot of cutesy poo characters for stickers, and I want to do like habit trackers and, you know, like balloons for birthdays and that kind of stuff. So I will be coming up with those in my next big update. But yeah, as you can see, I always start with a cylinder. I always do the cross or the X or whatever you want to call it. So as you can see, so circle, line down the middle, and then from there I'm going to draw my other one that will be where the plane for the eyes sit, and then like the general shape of the jaw and the ears and the eyes, and then the eyebrows, and you know what? I'm not gonna lie, noses can be difficult. They can be difficult. And hair, I just kind of rough it in. Everything is just really rough at this stage. And if you're wondering why I use I call them blue coal erases because that's what we called them in school. It's because when I went to school for animation, we drew everything in coal erase. So it was either, you could get interesting colors, but so you could get blue, you can get light blue, you can get red. I think there was also green and purple. And so one of them, the really light blue, was supposed to be like a non-photocopy because this is how old school all this stuff is. I had a teacher that would say Xerox machine, by the way. That's how old school some of the teachers I had were. Excuse me as I have a drink of tea. Hydration break, everybody. Moving on. So, yeah, I kind of just got used to drawing with these types of pencils, so I really dig using them, and I will pretty much forever use them as like my base, especially when I'm doing like my overlay stuff on it, especially when I'm doing like watercolor and stuff like that. But yeah, this is my jam. This is how I've always loved to draw, and I've kind of been refining this style of drawing and just like roughing stuff in and stuff probably since I was in school, so probably like a decade, give or take. But God, for a long time I stopped drawing. I'm not gonna lie, I stopped drawing for a long time because I just didn't think I was very good at drawing. By the way, my dog is sleep whining in the background, so I do apologize if you hear her. But yeah, so I did minis, little miniature food jewelry, for a very long time, over a decade, and then I kind of just wanted to pick up drawing again, and so hubby got me a iPad, and I'm gonna try, like, I've been really bad lately about drawing in my sketchbook, TBH. I think the last time I drew in it was last week, and the reality is because I was doing a Pokemon commission that I was recording for you guys for next week. So it's been a lot. I've been really busy with that. I still haven't even started really my Patreon stuff for next month. There's just been so much going on. And then the other thing is, so Riley is just over 9 months now. Oh, sorry, 10 months. And the hubby, his job ends next week. So I've been hitting the pavement looking for work. And I've been getting a lot of responses, and a lot of positive responses, a lot more than I thought I was going to get. I don't know why I thought this. But yeah, I already have some interviews lined up for next week, so I'm being pretty busy right now, and I'm really stressed and nervous. I'm not really sure what kind of work I want to pick up. Like, I feel like I might have options, and I'm the kind of person where options are great, but at the same token, no matter what I pick, I feel like I'm going to be that person that it's like, oh, well, I picked this. Oh, well, it's okay. But what if I had picked that? Maybe I would have liked that more. Is anyone else like that? I feel like I'm really indecisive, and no matter what I pick, one, I'm going to be so hard on myself and think that I'm horrible for the job, because I'm always like that, and every artist is their own worst nightmare, by the way. And then the other thing that's going to happen is I'm just going to constantly be like, they're going to fire me. I'm horrible, and they're going to fire me, because I've done that multiple times at multiple jobs, and it's so hard to get out of that mentality, because it's like, oh, well, I'm not good enough, and they hired me under false pretenses, and now they're going to fire me. I have so much anxiety about this. I think I'm going to talk to my therapist about this next week. But you know what? It's like half the time she's just like, well, you shouldn't feel like that because there's no reason to. And I'm like, okay, but you're not really helping me. I'm like, fuck. Oh my God. And oh yeah, last week I got asked to do a seminar thing. Not really a seminar. It was kind of like okay, so first year's at Seneca. That's the animation school I went to. See, I bonked his nose too. I don't know, this direction of, like, it's the same direction after I did it, and once I started editing this video, I'm like, I clearly can't draw noses in this direction, even though I did do the underdrawing for his nose. I got nervous drawing, like, the top bit of the nose, and then I screwed it up. Anyways, moving on. So one of my old teachers asked if I could come and do a talk about layout, because that's the field I'm in. So I said, sure, I'd love to. And then I was wondering who the other two people were going to be. And when he sent out an email, I actually know the other two people, which is hilarious. And we had a blast. And so they asked us a lot of questions and, you know, our time in the industry and blah, blah, blah. And so I kind of feel like I may have doom and gloomed it up a little bit too much, but I definitely told them all that we're our own worst nightmares and we're way too hard on ourselves, and the way that we speak to ourselves is not how we would speak to somebody else. So, you know, we need to be a lot more respectful. And everyone was like, oh my God, like, I need that written on something. You know, they really felt the same way. Okay, hydration break. All right. But I realized how much fun I had in that meeting just to talk about stuff with people about the industry and whatnot. I had a really good time chatting about things. But yeah, it's kind of weird to think that I've been in the industry for like, I think it's been like 13 years now, which is nuts. I want to find a studio with good work-life balance, and that's actually something that one of my friends that put in the good word at one of the studios she works at for me is make sure you ask about work-life balance, because she said she's asked that at certain studios, and it definitely weeds out the other studios that almost expect you to have to put in overtime, which is absolutely ridiculous. You shouldn't have to put in overtime all the time. Like, the work should be allotted correctly for, you know, the time, and we shouldn't be killing ourselves. You know, yes, it's a job and you want to put your best foot forward, but it doesn't mean that there's this thing where everyone just thinks that they have to do this. And it's like, sure, if you want to pay your dues when you first get into the industry, but like, enough is enough at a certain point. Like, your health is really important. Like, am I wrong in saying this? And I think that's why I'm nervous about going back to work. Like, I don't want nonsense. I am getting too old, and now that I have a daughter, like, I just don't want the nonsense. I don't want it. But that being said, I think this drawing right here was the one that I did the best on. Of course, it's always the last one that you work on. But yeah, so this was the first one that I didn't end up recording. But I hope you guys really enjoyed this type of content. Let me know if there is something else from the human body that you would be interested in me doing, like kind of like a masterclass drawing sit-down session with. And if you got this far in the video, put a happy emoji in the comment section below. I love you so freaking much, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye. I love you.